Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Friday the 27th. On to some notices from the manager. Again, a reminder, no dogs in the restaurant, and well done, everyone. I think everyone's sticking to the 20-mile-an-hour speed limit, so much appreciated. Catering update, same as yesterday, and tonight is pizza night, which usually pretty impressively large thin crust pizzas, so that should be pretty tasty. On the social side, reminder, Mark Davenport is planning to run the open mic night on Saturday evening. Please have a chat with Mark to either nominate yourself or indeed nominate someone else to do some open mic stuff. And there'll be a bit of singing and various other performances. Speak to him, and it'll also be party night. On to director's notes. Thank you very much, everyone. We saw much better airmanship the last day or two than we did on Wednesday, and particularly pleasing, the Pilot Safety Committee received a number of really positive reports of people flying very considerately, and we think we've had the behaviour change we were really hoping for. Please remember, the Pilot Safety Committee are there to represent you. They're not there as the enemy. They're just there to try and help you guys manage yourselves. So thank you very much to them as well for their kind of balanced approach to dealing with this. A reminder though, please keep clear of cloud before the start. I've been shown some evidence that suggests someone was certainly very close to being or in cloud in the start yesterday. It's unnecessary. We've kind of been through that, and so please stop taking those risks. Please land long if possible, and please avoid taxiing off. Again, yesterday, really good behaviour on that front. Looked really good, even when it got quite busy on the airfield, and when we had a bit of an issue in the middle next to the runway. So thank you very much, everyone. Much appreciated. If the view ahead looks like this, you are in cloud. So please remember, because really what I don't want to have to do is to drag these guys down from Aston down to ruin your day. They have to go and patrol the juniors, but if we need to drag them here, we will drag them here. A reminder for the Pilot Safety Committee. On to the results. So more good news. Yesterday was a contest day in both classes, and I think we had our first 1,000-point day in the 20 metres. In third place, Gary Coppin with 94.58 kph and 981 points. Second place, Steve Pozerskis, 95.04 kph and 990 points. Steve Jones in first place with 95.6 kph and 1,000 points. Well done, everyone. Please remember to collect your bottles of wine from control. 18-metre class, didn't quite get 1,000 points, but we got a racing day. In joint third, Richard Brown on 110.7 kph and Russell Cheetham on 109.7 kph, both with 739 points. Second place, Tim Jenkinson with 110.38 kph, 747 points. And in first place with a whopping 115.07 kph and 799 points, Philip Jones. Well done. Really, really impressive, guys, especially under the top cover at the top turn. And then over to Colin for the weather.
Hi there, morning everybody. Couple of seconds just to get the slide up, and hopefully we can get going. So one or two of my usual sites today that I look at sort of detailed weather on seem to have crashed, so it's not a guess, but some of my normal updates haven't taken place, so we're going with what we looked at earlier on this morning, and we have some changes possible if it does turn out to be better, but we think we've nailed it down on this one. So today, that's that cold front that cleared through yesterday morning, not really gone very far west, to be honest. Not going to be an issue for us, but what we're now seeing is perhaps a little bit more of an easterly flow rather than a northerly flow we had yesterday. Isobars are fairly well spaced apart, so winds are not strong. Flying heights 10 knots, maybe 15 in places right down on the southeast corner, not where you're going. So the TAFs, Farnborough's changed a little bit over the last sort of hour, but it's still going with scattered at 4,000 feet. The wind direction is starting to come round to more of an easterly. They were a 360, 8 knots earlier. Now they're coming to 010, and places are beginning to swing a little bit more easterly as their prediction. But scattered at 4,000 feet, that's pretty optimistic. A couple of other TAFs are saying broken at 3,000. Haven't got a Yeovilton one yet, but hopefully that'll show scattered 3.5 today. And upper winds 030 probably for most of the day over us, and out to the west 040 I think would be a fair guess, and about 10 knots, maybe 12 to 14, as I say, down on the south coast is what we're actually looking at on other predictions. SatPic, I'm sure most of you have already been glued to this one, showing this area here slowly creeping across us, it beginning to burn back out to the west, filling a little bit in here, but I think that's a bit like it's done in the last couple of days. It fills in a bit and then opens up again. We've still got the sort of fairly thick cloud over the middle of the country, and I think that's going to present a problem for the clubs up at Dunstable and Aston Down getting away there. We're lucky, I think we're in this area here, and temperatures rising quite nicely. Interestingly, the BBC were showing some cloud over us till about 1 o'clock, spread out cloud, and that might keep the temperatures down. And I think this might be where they're getting this little sort of slight reduction in the temperature. But I'm working on 19 degrees over a fairly broad area down in the south here, and that plugging those numbers in to the particular models with dew points around about 8 seems to give cloud base about 3,500 feet from early to mid-afternoon in places. My usual go-to for the NOAA and GFS ascents isn't working, so I've had a look at another couple of sources. They're all showing the same sort of thing, lines fairly close together over us and to the east of us, like this one here, which shows that cloud base will be around about 3,000 feet. Going further west, they start to come apart, certainly into the West Country. They're apart, and they're showing cloud base about 3.5 above sea level. I think if it did get to 20 degrees, you might see 4,000 feet. The fly in the ointment is the actual Lark Hill. Pretty solid inversion. This was a 6 o'clock this morning ascent. Pretty solid inversion in there, and that's going to give spread out, throughout the day, and I think spread out worse further north and east you go, until really the temperature gets to about 19 degrees, and if dew points are down at about 8, you're going to see sort of 3 to 4 eighths of cumulus. Otherwise, you're going to see 5 to 6 eighths of Q for most of the day. Top Meteo hasn't refreshed yet, but it's sort of giving the same sort of thing. By 11 o'clock, we're going to see sort of cumulus, but 5 to 6 eighths, maybe a little bit more than that. They're showing spread out Oxford, Booker area, but I think that's going to be more extensive, certainly north of the M4 this morning. And then as we go on through the afternoon, less spread out in the sort of Midlands area, but still 4 to 6 eighths Q, folks. Perhaps more cloud than yesterday till late afternoon, when I suspect it might thin out a little bit. But that strong inversion will still be there, I think. Shut off probably 5 o'clock-ish. Thermal heights by sort of midday it should be going, hopefully. And you should be looking at midday to 1 o'clock, 2.5 above Lasham, 3,000 above sea level. And then out to the west of us, the southwest, 1,400 meters, that could be that magic scattered at 4,000 feet that Farnborough are forecasting. But I think generally cloud base is going to be about 3.5 above sea level. My best guess on that. And as I say, going realistically till 5 o'clock. But I think once it starts to shut down at this time of year, it shuts down fairly quickly. So probably by 6, you'll need to be home or it'll be a struggle. Top Meteo suggested distance and direction is in the area out to the west of us, and West Country, Salisbury Plain, out around that area there. So I think that's where initially we've set our tasks. Okay, Ed, so over to you. You should be able to redo your screen share and
Thank you, Colin. Okay, so on to the tasks for the day. A reminder, just because the wind direction again and the slight strength is, we're going to keep a 400-foot AGL minimum finish height, so slightly higher than earlier in the week, same as yesterday though. Task sheets available from RoboControl as normal. On the 18 meters here at the front today, we've got a racing task down to Portersham on the south coast, and then back up via Chickblade, Montesfort Station, Bullington Cross for 252 kilometres. And if the weather doesn't develop quite as quickly as we'd hoped, and that little wodge of cloud that Colin was talking about kind of lingers for us, we've got a fallback of 160 kilometres in the same sort of direction down to Sixpenny Handley, Tisbury and back. Hopefully you're getting pretty familiar with the airspace around that area, so it does look like the best weather unfortunately is back down there, so it should be more of the same you're quite familiar with. On the 20 meters, a slightly shorter because you're at the back of the grid, task down to Dorchester, very similar shape otherwise, so you should hopefully have some 18 meters in front of you, and starting from a slightly different position at Basingstoke West. Task B, again, a short fallback task, Sixpenny Handley, Fovant and back for 155 kilometres. Again, that's if we just don't quite get the weather we'd expected. Okay, any questions on the tasks? Okay, over to you, Colin, for the airspace.
Thanks, Ed, and good morning, everyone. Right, fairly short and sweet today, I hope. Well, I hope sweet. Compton box is closed, we're not going anywhere near it. Odium 80Z is a penalty zone. Para Old Sarum is going to have to be a penalty zone. I'm afraid we struggled to make any reasonable contact with them this morning, and so we have to call that a penalty zone. Odium 80Z, I've got that in twice, but then why not? Odium 80Z is a penalty zone. I hope you've all picked up the fact that it is version 2 of the airspace file now. The reason that was issued was the addition of an RAT near Sidmouth. You're not going very close to it, but to keep it clean, we decided we would tell you about that and change the airspace file. That's the only relevant change for today. Quick look round the area where we're going, and if I can, yes, I can find the mouse, I think. Yes, good. Okay. It's all the normal things I warned you about for the last week, really. It's the proximity to Solent CTA. Don't be fooled that this is slightly in green. It's reactivating in 10 minutes time. So although at one time this morning we thought Solent is not going to be there, we can use some quite interesting waypoints, but we couldn't. So there we are. Anyway, it is going to be active at the time you're flying, so be careful. Likewise, Middle Wallop, there was a question came up on the chat about the DZ Para Middle Wallop. As far as we are aware, it is not active. They are actively flying there. So my contact there has said it is, they are not dropping. Coming down here, ignore this circle here. It's the Dorset Gliding Club, 10 gliders flying tasks. Well, it just adds 10 to the bit of airspace, doesn't it, really? Some of these danger areas are relevant to you. I don't think you'll be going offshore, so in that sense, there's no great problem. That's an equestrian event, don't worry about it. Obviously Compton, Abbas, ATZ, and the complex around Yeovil and stroke Yeovilton. The park is there. They may well be winch launching. We haven't heard, but we're not using it as a turning point. Para Old Sarum, once again, it is active, or is likely to be active, and we are scoring it as a penalty zone. And then I want to move on to speak about Popham. There is, well, some might call it a cultural event, Carfest, adjacent to Popham, predicted to be in excess of 20,000 people there, gathered in quite a small area, spreading COVID like nobody's business. I didn't say that. Popham have changed their procedures. They are intending to use runway 08. They were using 03 this morning, which caused a problem because the start of the downwind leg is right over the top of where Carfest is. So there is a gathering of people in this area, and I'm sure everyone's aware of the rules of the air of flying over gathering of large numbers of people, no lower than 1,500 feet. Popham is still happy to welcome you, should you need to use them in extremis, and there won't be any issues there, but just watch that area around there, and the choice of fields might be limited because there'll be bodies everywhere. Didn't say that, did I? Okay, nothing more from me specifically on airspace. We'll take the chat, any questions via the chat function.
We have got one comment.
Okay, I'll deal with that in just a second. Airfield radio frequencies. Everything, nothing changes. Please keep the prefixes of Lasham going. It does help tremendously, actually. I'll just see what Michael's got on chat. Bear with me a moment, and we will.
Yeah, we're just going to ask if you can show the location of the rat.
Which rat?
The rat version.
Okay, I was asked if I could show the location of the rat at Sidmouth. Not easily is the answer. It is south of Exeter, not relevant to where you're going today. Can I say that if you want any further information, come and see me and I can show you where it is on my system, but my system's not linked in, I'm afraid. Sorry, and it is in the airspace file, so it's another. Oh, great. There we go. That's it. Michael is highlighting where it is. Ignore that task which is showing. That was one we thought about earlier today and discarded fairly rapidly. Thank you. So that's where we got to, and I'll now hand back to Ed for layout and finishing.
Okay, thank you very much, Colin. As before, remember, please drive around the Perry track if you need to get across the airfield in the evenings, just in case 2XL are going to be doing any flying. And there was club operations last night as well. We are on 09. We thought with the wind today, this was a better setup. Relights on the grass south side of 09 if needed. Approach, just going to be, for all the tasks, you should be able to come straight in either onto the runway or onto the two grass runways to the south side. As before, there shouldn't really be any reason to go round, but if you did, I would suggest doing a right-hand circuit and joining the circuit traffic into one of the southern grass runways. The club operation will be operating from the north side grass again, and tugs will be landing on 09 as well. Club operations, yep, they're operating today. And finishing, please call 10K and on the finish frequency and land on where possible. Please don't taxi off. Scoring, again, reminder to submit your traces. Are there any further questions?
Not so much a question, but
yep. Okay, so we've got an exciting opportunity for people who have a bit of flying experience and don't get ill. X-ray with Adrian Doherty has a spare back seat, and he does need a P2 to be able to compete today. So there's a chance to find a very nice Duo XLT with Adrian. Please speak to Adrian Doherty or Control, and we will try and hook you up. Thank you very much. First launch, not before 11:15. Last launch 1800, and next briefing tomorrow 10 AM. Thank you very much, and really appreciate the efforts to try and make sure the safety has improved over the last couple of days. Really good work from the pilots. So thank you very much, everyone. Hope you have a lovely day. See you out there.